one of the bulwarks of the Indian Constitution, the protector and the guarantor of the fundamental rights in India. The Supreme Court of India is the apex court of the country, and today we will be discussing about few of the extraordinary power that the Supreme Court of India possesses. Hello and welcome to the In Focus series section of Drishti IAS. I am Aisha Singh, and in today's video we will be discussing about the extraordinary powers of the Supreme Court of India, that is the apex court of India, and under Article 142. And why is Article 142 so special? So let us first understand the timeline. First we'll be looking at the news, then what is Article 142 that makes it so special, then the cases where Supreme Court has exercised its power of Article 142 till now, and then what is the criticism of Article 142 in the end, a prelims MCQ. This topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 2, that is polity section. From exam perspective, both from prelims and mains, you should be able to know first is what is Article 142, then from mains perspective, the Supreme Court cases that has been related with it and why is it criticized. So let's see the news. It has been taken from the Indian Express and it says, with Supreme Court's ruling on divorce, a look at its power under Article 142 and their criticism. So many a times we will see that we will keep on hearing the word Article 142, and the Article 142 is in news, and the Article 142 makes Supreme Court even more powerful. So what is Article 142 and how it makes Supreme Court even more powerful? And now again it has given Supreme Court power on the case of divorce. So what has happened is that a 5-judge or constitution bench of the Supreme Court on 1st of May this month held that a court can directly grant divorce under Article 142 of the Constitution. So under Article 142, the Supreme Court can directly enter into the case and can grant divorce. Cases where marriage has irrevocably broken down or does not have any grounds that why it broke down, without referring the parties to a family court first, because in case of divorce, the procedure which is basically followed, that is first the couple has to go to a family court and have to file for a divorce, and where they must wait for 6 to 18 months for a decree of divorce by mutual consent. So if these kind of things are not followed, these points, then Supreme Court under Article 142 can directly grant divorce. Now let's see that what is Article 142. So Article 142 of the Indian Constitution gives extraordinary powers to the Supreme Court, gives sweeping powers to the Supreme Court, and makes Supreme Court even more powerful. So it gives sweeping powers to the Supreme Court. What does Article 142 say is, it provides a unique power to the Supreme Court of India to do complete justice. This is what is the most important word, that it gives the power to Supreme Court to do complete justice between the parties where at times the law or statute may not provide a remedy. So the cases in which the parties are not getting justified result according to the law or statute, the Supreme Court under Article 142 has the power to provide complete justice. And now you will be thinking, what is this complete justice? What is complete justice? So complete justice is what the Supreme Court will decide itself. And this is what makes Supreme Court even more special under the Article 142. Because it gives the power to the Supreme Court, the extraordinary power, the sweeping powers, and it makes even Supreme Court the more powerful to do complete justice between the parties where the law and the statute is not providing a remedy to them. And in those situations, the court can extend itself to put an end to a dispute in a manner that would fit the facts of the case. So the court in these cases itself, by themselves, the Supreme Court will enter the case, or by themselves the Supreme Court can take up the case and can give result into that case. So this was Article 142 clause 1. Now let's see the clause 2. So the clause 2 says that Supreme Court have all and every power. All and every. Two very extreme words are included here. All and every. Supreme Court has all and every power to make any order for the purpose of securing the attendance of any person, the discovery or production of any documents, or the investigation or punishment of any contempt of itself. It means, see, first of all, the Supreme Court can take up any issue by itself and can give complete justice if the party associated in it is not able to get the remedy according to the laws and statute. That was clause 1. And clause 2 is saying that Supreme Court has all and every power to ask any person to come and present themselves, and then can also ask for the production or discovery of any kind of document, and then investigation or punishment of any contempt by itself. So Supreme Court by Article 142 can actually ask any person or a document or any kind of investigation to take place and present themselves before it. And this is what makes Supreme Court even more powerful. Now let's see that the cases where Supreme Court has exercised the Article 142 power of itself, the extraordinary power, and by giving complete justice or by taking the court itself. So in the Prem Chand Garg case, which took place in the year 1961, an order to do complete justice between the parties, what happened was, must not only be consistent with the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution, but it cannot even be inconsistent with the substantive provisions of the relevant statutory laws. So the Article 32 was upheld. So in the case Prem Chand Garg case 1961, the Supreme Court used its Article 142 power, and it was said that Article 142 must be consistent with the fundamental rights. It's not that Article 142 is extremely powerful and can do whatever they want to do. They need to be in consistence with the fundamental right. It means Article 32, which is writs guaranteed by the Constitution, and also it has to be in content or relevant with the statutory laws which are present. It means fundamental rights it has to follow and statutory laws it has to follow. It was said in Prem Chand Garg case 1961. Then what happened was, then after the Prem Chand Garg case 1961 took place, a 7-judge bench in A.R. Antulya 1988 case said that the Prem Chand Garg case, whatever was said in the Prem Chand Garg case, upholds. So the ruling in the 1962 Prem Chand Garg case was upheld in the A.R. Antulya 1988 case. Then comes the Bhopal gas tragedy case. Because of the mishappening of the Union Carbide Corporation, the company which was involved, the methyl isocyanate gas got distributed and the people of Bhopal suffered a lot. Many were hospitalized and many suffered death, and till now the people there suffers from this tragedy. So the Union Carbide Corporation versus Union of India, in this the Supreme Court also used its Article 142 power and said that Supreme Court in 1991 ordered the Union Carbide Corporation to pay 470 million in compensation for the victims of the Bhopal gas tragedy. And the bench highlighted the wide scope of Article 142 clause 1 of complete justice, because they wanted to give complete justice to the people of Bhopal because of the tragedy they went through, and in which they did not had any say and they could not do anything. They were not involved in it, but still they suffered a lot. So the concept of complete justice was involved in it, and the Supreme Court bench highlighted the scope of Article 142 clause 1, and they said that it was necessary to set at rest certain misconceptions in the arguments touching the scope of the powers of this court under Article 142 clause 1 of the Constitution. So the Article 142 Clause 1 of the Constitution was also included in the Bhopal gas tragedy case, that is Union Carbide Corporation versus Union of India, and they used the scope of Article 142 to give its judgment, and there they also showed that the Article 142 gives extreme and extraordinary powers to the Supreme Court, and it can give results, and it can give result in any of the cases which they find is very important. Then what we saw was in the case of Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, so one of the convict, that is A.G. Perarivalan, was released. So in this case also the Supreme Court used its power under Article 142 Clause 1. So the Supreme Court has invoked its extraordinary power to do complete justice. And the word complete justice is not defined actually, because the complete justice is based on facts and not sympathy. So whenever there are facts involved and emotions and sympathy is not involved, there are facts, there are evidences, there are proofs, then the Supreme Court can do complete justice under Article 142 of the Constitution, and ordered the release of convict A.G. Peranivalan in former Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. So in this also the Supreme Court used the Article 142. Now let's talk about that what has been the criticism of Article 142. So if there is something which is making the Supreme Court of India even more powerful, the criticism is bound to happen, because if someone is becoming too powerful, then it might create problems also. So let's see what are the criticisms of Article 142. First of all, it says that the Article 142 is arbitrary and ambiguous. First of all, nothing has been said clearly that what is Article 142, and most importantly that what is the meaning of the term complete justice has not been given explicitly. What is complete justice? Who defines complete justice? On what basis complete justice has been given? And what are the prerogatives or what are the objectives of deciding the complete justice? This has not been defined. So this is first and foremost criticism of Article 142, that what is the basis of the most important word, that is complete justice. What is complete justice? No one knows what is complete justice. It is only decided by the Supreme Court that what is complete justice. So this word becomes very subjective in nature, because this might differ from one case to another case. So there needs to be some guidelines on which the term complete justice can be defined. And second, arbitrary, because it makes the Supreme Court of India the most powerful entity, and then no one can question the Supreme Court, because many a times we see if everyone knows that what is the structure of judiciary in India. First there is District Court, High Court, Supreme Court. So when a case gets filed in the District Court, then one can go and file the case in High Court, then into the Supreme Court, then from one bench to another bench of Supreme Court. And if the results come, then there can be review petition filed for in the Supreme Court. So what happens is this stretches the period of the case to very long periods, from years and years goes on, and the case does not get solved. So in these cases also the Supreme Court can use its power of Article 142, because if Supreme Court gives the decision under Article 142, then the petition cannot be filed against it. And then comes one more criticism, and that is that the separation of powers doctrine is not being followed by the Supreme Court under Article 142, because Article 142 gives wide-ranging sweeping powers to the Supreme Court, and many a times it has been seen that Supreme Court is entering into the other tangents of legislature, which there is separation of power which we follow in our country, that judiciary will not enter into the working of the legislature or the executive, while executive will also not enter into the other two area of work. So the separation of power doctrine is not followed, which says that the judiciary should not venture into areas of law making. Then in the Supreme Court Bar Association versus Union of India 1998, it was said that the powers under Article 142 are supplementary in nature and could not be used to supplant or override a substantive law and build a new edifice where none existed earlier. So this is an important line. According to the Supreme Court Bar Association versus Union of India 1998, it is saying that the powers which is given under Article 142 are supplementary in nature. They are supplementary in nature because already the powers that has been given, it is not that this is the prime most power. And we have also seen that Supreme Court on daily basis does not use the Article 142. It is only used in special cases and it is used on rare basis and could not be used to supplant or override a substantive law, and the law which is already present, it cannot override it and can also not build a new edifice, cannot build a new law also which does not exist earlier. It means already the law and statutes which are existing in nature, it can work only on those. It cannot pass a new law. Then in A. Jidranath versus Jubilee Hills Cooperative House Building Society 2006 case, it was said that the Supreme Court discussed the scope of the power of Article 142, holding that in its exercise, no injustice should be caused to a person not party to the case. So if any party which is not present in the case which the Supreme Court is discussing under Article 142, then no harm should be caused to them or no injustice should be caused to them who are not party to the case. So this was about the criticism. Now it's time for the prelims MCQ and you people need to tell me the answer in the comment section. And this is a PYQ in the year, asked in the year 2019, I think. So try to solve it. This is a lengthy question, so I'm giving you time to read it and I am also reading. So this says, with reference to the Constitution of India, prohibitions or limitations or provisions contained in ordinary laws cannot act as prohibitions or limitations on the constitutional power under Article 42. It could mean which one of the following. So basically it is asking that what does Article 142 say, even though it looks very difficult to read it. And if you will look at the options, you might be able to get to the answer easily. Option A says, the decisions taken by the Election Commission of India while discharging its duties cannot be challenged in any court of law. Second, the Supreme Court of India is not constrained in the exercise of its power by laws made by the Parliament. Third, in the event of grave financial crisis in the country, the President of India can declare financial emergency without the counsel from the Cabinet. D, state legislature cannot make laws on certain matters without the concurrence of union legislature. So this was A, B, C, D option. You have to tell me which one is the correct by giving answer in the comment section. To solve this question, I'll tell you a very basic thing. Even if you did not understand the question, just focus on the word Article 142. And if you will carefully look at the options here, you will be easily able to eliminate at least 2. Very easy. Just go by the important words and you will be able to solve this question by the elimination method. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading and keep writing.